Hello, hello, my friends. Another dedicated candle review for you today. We are going to be talking about Caramel Sundays Honey Badger. Now, I did want to let you guys know two things. One, I'm going to apologize if this week's candle reviews feel a little bit Caramel Sundays heavy. It is because their restock is coming up this next weekend, this Sunday, actually, April 19th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I'm playing a little bit of catch up from my, social media break. I'm trying to get reviews and thoughts shared with you guys prior to this restock coming up, especially because some of the fragrances that are being brought back are ones that I have already burned and have some thoughts, to give with you guys. And that's the point of my channel, is I like to let you guys know what I'm experiencing, and then you can determine if something is worth spending your hard-earned dollars on. The other thing that I did want to say here is that I am a Caramel Sundays brand ambassador. I was able to purchase this candle at a little bit of a discount from the brand. That is the perk with them. They don't do PR, they don't do sponsored videos. And what's the other thing that they don't do? They don't do like an affiliate code where I earn commission. Nothing like that. Basically, their ambassador program is simply just the perk of being able to get early access to their launches, as well as be able to purchase those at a little bit of a discount. So wanted to put that out there. You guys know I'm always going to give it to you straight. So Honey Badger, you guys, this is one of the fragrances that I was super, super excited about when they initially launched it. I believe that this fragrance came out initially, I want to say in February. I think that this might be the third restock in a row that this one has been offered. So I actually initially purchased this fragrance in the February restock. That was prior to the ambassador program. I purchased it in a 2-wick because at that time, the only other fragrance that it was being offered in was a 5-wick. And those are a little bit spendy, you guys. Do I think that they are a good value for like what you're getting? Yes. And I can talk about that a little bit more in a Caramel Sundays video. In fact, I'm pre-filming this a little bit ahead of time, so I'm not sure. I may have already talked about that in a Caramel Sundays video. But anyways, I didn't want to spend the money on a 5-wick for a fragrance that I wasn't yet quite familiar with. I did determine at that time to put that money towards my beloved oat milk and pistachio in a 5-wick. But anyways, I initially bought this in a 2-wick. And I've already burned through that one, you guys, and I had a great experience with it. I knew from my experience with the 2-wick that I definitely wanted to purchase it again in the 4-wick when they offered this in their March restock. Now, similar to what I said about the Monkey Business candle, this particular vessel that I am reviewing for you guys is kind of like a one-off. They did have a glass supply shortage, which that's something kind of going on, I think, with the industry as a whole. They did have a shortage, or they weren't, I don't know if it was a shortage or if they weren't able to get the delivery of their normal 4-wick size in time for them to be able to pour. I can't remember what it was, but it was something like that. So they did have to use an alternative vessel for their 4-wicks in their March restock. So I did want to let you guys know that in this April restock, Honey Badger is returning in a 4-wick, but it is their quote unquote normal 4-wick vessel. This one is a little bit narrower than their traditional 4-wick. That is also the only fragrance that Honey Badger is going to be offered in this April restock. So if you've missed out on this one, or if you've had this fragrance already and you love it and you want to back up, just be aware it's only going to be available in the 4-wick. The 4-wick does retail for $64.99. It's 100% soy wax, non-tox ingredients, which is kind of, the hallmark of the Caramel Sundays brand. Let's go ahead and talk about fragrance notes here, you guys. Top notes: ripe bananas, honey butter. Mid notes of juicy pineapple and honey. Base notes of pecan, butter cake, and vanilla. All right, so I gave a little bit of a spoiler alert. Clearly, I really love the fragrance because I did repurchase it, right? This is the second time that I am like going through this fragrance. I already finished up a 2-wick, and now here I am on the 4-wick. What does my nose detect? To me, you guys, the most prominent note that I pick up on, on cold is pineapple. I definitely smell pineapple here. But when this candle is lit, the pineapple is still noticeable, but there is a gourmand aspect to this that is a little bit more dense. It's a little bit more of like a, I don't want to say a pound cake. It's not that dense to my nose, but it's not a light and fluffy type of vibe either. This one is really, really nice. I even detect a little bit of that pecan and nuttiness in it the longer that I burn this candle, which of course that would make sense since pecan is listed as a base note. But still, to me, you guys, I I I never get to a point where I don't smell any pineapple at all in this fragrance. So if you are somebody who does not like pineapple fragrances, um, don't think that you're not going to smell pineapple in here. But I am going to tell you that for me personally, one, I like pineapple. Two, the other thing with this fragrance is that the pineapple in here, I think, blends so beautifully with that honey note, that gives it a little bit of sweetness for me that perfectly balances out the more dense aspects that can come from the butter cake accord and the pecan, which again, those really start to come out the longer that you're burning this candle. So for me, I like it. Now, banana is in this fragrance. This is not as banana forward as even monkey business, which even in that review, I told you guys that it's definitely, that is more of like a creamy, not, especially when it's burning, it's not like a Laffy Taffy banana. And I would say with this fragrance, it's kind of the same thing. The banana in here is more, it's definitely not the first note that I smell. I think that it lends some sweetness in partnership with the pineapple and again, the honey note that's listed in the middle there. I think that it works in partnership, but this is not a banana forward fragrance to my nose. I will still maintain that I think pineapple is the star of the show. But it sounds kind of funny. It smells like a pineapple upside down cake, I think, to my nose. That's what I'm detecting. That's what I love about it. It's a great fragrance. I mentioned in my monkey business review that I really, really like pairing this fragrance with monkey business. I also like pairing this fragrance with Kringle Candles warm banana bread, or if you have their now discontinued, what is it, their fruit and flakes, or it was also called sugared diamonds in the 3-wick. It's a beautiful fragrance with that. I actually oddly also think that this kind of goes nicely sometimes with oat milk and pistachio. I know that sounds like a weird combo, but this one is just, it's a beautiful like summertime gourmand. If you're somebody who is just a like gourmand lover through and through, you're not really into the super fruity tropical types of scents that are normally that we see typically like in the summertime. That's normally what's offered in the like hot summer months. If you're somebody who truly wants to stick with a summer feeling gourmand, then this is one that's going to interest you. Really, really like this fragrance. And again, I've purchased it twice. Now, here's the thing that we're going to talk about is performance on this one. So I'm going to give you my experience in the 2-wick and the 4-wick, since even though in the immediate future, at the time that I am filming this, it's only going to be available in a 4-wick, my hope is that Caramel Sundays will work this one into their regular lineup for years going forward. So if you're watching this review at a later date, you can have my experience with the 2-wick and the 4-wick. So my 2-wick, you guys, the funny thing is that the first burn on the 2-wick, I remember it took a good solid 3 hours for that candle to start throwing for me. But let me tell you what, when it did, it really began to throw. I haven't had that issue with this one at all. The 2-wick, I got really good performance from. If you're new to my channel, I do have listed in the description box down below the layout of my home, and you also want to take into account environmental factors. Lots of things can play into a candle's performance, but I will tell you that the 2-wick always did best when it was burning on my quilt rack up against a wall where it could throw a little bit better. This 4-wick is also performing quite well for me. I'm going to give strength and throw on this one. Usually average for me is around an 8. There were times, even in the 2-wick, where it was almost a 9 for me. But then there have also been some burns where I feel like it's a little bit of a softer fragrance, and sometimes it's maybe like a 6.5, 7. But on these 4 wicks, I'm going to say that my average experience with them has been in that 7.5, 8 range, which you guys know, me personally, if you've been here for a while, my sweet spot for strength and throw on candles is usually between a 7 and an 8. I am not somebody who wants to be smacked in the face with fragrance. I don't want it to be overwhelming. I don't want it to be too heavy. I am somebody who enjoys fragrance, but I like it more as like a background scent. I want it to be noticeable. And I will tell you, this is a fragrance that anytime people walk into my house, when I walk into my house, if I've been running an errand and, obviously somebody's home and I walk back into my house, people can smell it. Like it's definitely noticeable. It's not like you're like having to sniff the air and be like, oh, I think you might be burning a candle. No, no. You will still open the door and be like, oh, wow, that's a great, her house smells wonderful, right? But with that being said, I don't like fragrance to be so strong that it's headache inducing or that it's just becomes so much that I have to blow it out after like an hour and a half, 2 hours. So overall, you guys, I do recommend Honey Badger. I personally, as much as I would love to purchase another 4 wick this Sunday, I think I'm going to leave it for the rest of you guys because I'm going to hold out hope that they bring it back next year. I feel like I feel like this is going to be enough to last me through this summer. You guys know, as a reviewer, I am always trying to review new stuff for you guys, although I want it to be new stuff that actually interests me. And so I have to prioritize a lot of my candle budget on new stuff. Every once in a while, I'll treat myself and buy some backups, which you'll see in my haul for April. There are a couple that I am planning to buy backups of, but for the most part, I try to focus on the new. And so therefore, for this month, I need to prioritize my candle budget on some newer fragrances. But if this one does return in 2027, I would definitely purchase another one. This is a fragrance that I really love. I actually even would like this fragrance probably. This sounds bizarre, but I might even actually like this fragrance like in January when I'm kind of over all of like the holiday spice type of stuff. I'm wanting something maybe a little bit more fruity and tropical. If you're new to my channel, I live in Arizona, so our winters are very different than what most of the rest of the country endures at that time of year. So I feel like I can pull off pineapple in January here. But let me know in the comment section down below if you guys have purchased Honey Badger. What has your burn experience been with it? What does your nose detect? I've heard a lot of varying things on this one. Some people pick up on pecan, some people pick up on the cake, some people say I don't smell pineapple, some people say all I smell is pineapple. So I would be really curious to hear your thoughts in the comment section down below. Please hit thumbs up if you found this review helpful. And again, you guys, make sure that you are signed up for those early access text alerts for Caramel Sundays. The restock is happening this Sunday, April 19th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and you don't want to miss out. So I do want to say thank you so very, very much for spending your time here with me today. And until my next one, I hope you all go out and have a very blessed day. Bye.